It's your boy Coach Defense here. Thanking you for supporting the channel. Become a lockdown defender by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're enjoying your time, hit that like button. Help us grow in the community. Now check out our latest video. Leave a comment. And as always, you got to step up to lock it down. For San Francisco 49ers, we'll get into them first. So, yeah, I mean, it's been news upon news, obviously, when it comes down to this team. I mean, some good, some bad. I mean, praise up to Ricky Pearsall, man. I think that him being shot was a tragedy, but a miracle all in one breath. I mean, he got shot in his torso, but it wasn't anything vital. He was only in the hospital a few hours.
Yeah,
miraculous for him. So shouts out to him. I mean, he's going to start on the pup list, but he'll look like he'll play this season, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we've been covering the noise in regards to this team all off season. With Brandon Ayuk, with Trent Williams, Sam Darnold leaving, and then they bring Brock Purdy being clear and cut guy there, and what they're going to do about paying him in a year or two. So a lot of turnover. They did finish 12-5 last year, top of the division. I believe they were the number one seed in the NFC, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So they played their home game in the AFC title game. So I do remember that. Okay.
Yep.
So like I said, they had Sam Darnold their backup last year. Ironically enough, they got what is it, Josh Dobbs now? Yeah, I think it's Josh.
I think so. They did get somebody like that.
Josh Dobbs, there's their backup. Chase Young, who they traded for, ended up leaving to go to the Saints. Lost Eric Armstead. But they did gain Leonard Floyd. They did get Devondre Campbell from the Packers, who's going to fill in for Greenlaw for the time being because he's still coming back from injury. Signed Rocky Ya-Sin to help bolster their cornerback room. They definitely needed help there. Outside of Tre'Davious Ward, they were in need of another corner. Although it's interesting enough, we'll talk about it in a minute, but he's not high up on the depth chart, which I thought he would be. So that's interesting to note in regards to how much he's going to play. But from your perspective, give me your take on their offseason. What was your take on it? How do you feel about what they did in the offseason, and what is their team going to look like in 2024?
Yeah, well, you kind of said it all. I mean, it's been noisy. And, there are certain organizations in the league that you expect that from, and then there are certain organizations in the league that are pretty much steady. And that they're always going to be competitors. They have a certain culture in the room. They normally keep things under wraps for the most part. They keep guys happy. Guys know what they expect when they walk in there as far as the culture. And the 49ers, to me, stand out as one of those organizations that normally are like that. To me, it signifies that things are getting a little stale in the building. I feel like their window is closing. I think this is the year that their window may close because you start to see guys. I mean, these are problems that they used to not have. People didn't. You're not used to people complaining about their contract in San Francisco because they come in and they fit. They know they're gonna compete. They know the culture that it is, and they're ready to rock and roll. They'll work out things on the back end, right? You don't hear about guys wanting to get out of there. You don't hear about guys requesting trades often. Now these things are starting to come up a little bit more because I think, things start to get stale in a while. You get tired of competing 5 and 6 years in a row without getting over the hump. And, like after a while, just like coaches, they can say all these things and they can do all these things in the locker room, but after a while, it just falls on deaf ears if you're not able to get over that hump. And I feel like guys are starting to get a little bit anxious there. Guys, you see Ayuk bucking a little bit. You see Trent Williams wanting his contract, finally got it. And then also just like luck-wise, it doesn't seem like luck is on this team's side right now. I mean, the unfortunate situation with Ricky Pearsall, that everybody, I know when they made the trade for Chase Young, everybody, including myself, we were interested. We thought, okay, this is unfair. That's a cheat code. It's about to be, outside. He did well, but it didn't pan out the way he thought it was going to pan out. You got guys battling injury. I mean, the thing that happened to Greenlaw in the Super Bowl, like a freak injury, non-contact, running onto the field, messes up his Achilles. It's just one thing after another with this team, and it feels like they cannot get over the hump, man. And it's just, you hate to see it because, you love the organization. You love guys like Trent, Christian McCaffrey, of course, Debo. You want to see them win one, but it just doesn't seem like luck is on their side, man. It just seems like it's always something. And I feel like that window is closing for them quickly. I feel like it's championship or bust. So, it's going to be interesting to see them this year. They still are the 49ers. They still got them dogs. They still got McCaffrey, who is that guy. They still got, a great coaching staff and great players. Nick Bosa, they got obviously the best offensive player in McCaffrey, and obviously and close to the best defensive player in Bosa on their team. So they're going to compete regardless. But if I'm a fan and, if I'm watching from the outside looking in, like I'm saying, it just seems like it's one thing after another with this team. And this is not like them this offseason. So it's going to be interesting to see how they bounce back. They do have a favorable schedule. I will say that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, ironically enough, to say that because they were playing a first place schedule. So typically when you play a first place schedule, that's typically, that's added pressure to your already, pressure cooker type of environment when you have the stigma on your head that you have to be in the Super Bowl or competing for the Super Bowl every year with this roster. Because most people would argue that they have the best roster in the league, top to bottom. So if you have that stigma on you and, you have that noise, you have that all that going on, and you add a tough schedule on top of that, that's a recipe for you fall on your face. But is to your point, I do believe that they got a lot going on in regards to this roster and where they're at. I don't know what the GM and the owners and their timeline is on right now with Shanahan and this environment, but I definitely have to share the sentiment with you that it's really championship or bust at this point. And I think that I think I was a year early on this by saying this in the offseason last year when they lost in the Super Bowl. But I think that they're gonna call Carl Shanahan on the carpet if he does not get it done this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's hard to argue that it's not due. We've seen coaches fired for much less.
True.
To be honest, you know what I mean? And I hate to say it because he's a successful coach. It's not like they haven't been winning. They have been winning, but after a while, how much rope do you give a guy if they can't get over the hump? So think changes have to be made. If it's not the coach, then it might be, some drastic roster moves. I don't know what it is, but something's going to have to change if they're not able to get at least. I feel like they need to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know, depending on how it goes down, if they make it to the Super Bowl or whatever the case is, but something's definitely going to have to change if they don't, they're not able to get off the finish line.
Yeah, because I think Kyle has been to the Super Bowl twice in his tenure. Against lost the Chiefs and lost to the. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I think he lost the Chiefs
twice. Yeah, damn. Okay, yeah. Well, that's your kryptonite, then. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, if anything, that might help his case a little bit because it's almost like the Jordan effect. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, you lose. Everybody's been losing to the Chiefs, so
right.
If anything, that could work in his benefit.
Maybe save him, but again, the pressure's still there. I mean, especially when it's not like they got blown out. There were two tight games. So one call here, one call there, one thing changed here, there. They could have won them both. So I don't know, but I do believe that they really are in a situation where it's win now. To your point, I don't even think that if it's going to require them losing for them to make changes. I think that regardless, money wise, they're going to have to make changes after this year. Like you're paying everybody a premium, and I'm still trying to figure out how they did it. I mean, you got George Kittle make a top dollar. You got Bosa make a top dollar. You got only person that make a top dollar is the quarterback, and he's going to want his money in a year.
That's what's saving him. That's what's saving him is the fact they got him on a rookie deal. But like you said, they're not going to be able to keep that forever. So, and that's not a guy that I don't care who that's not a guy that you're going to pay. I mean, I'm just sorry. Like, he's been able to get it done, but they can't pay him. It's not possible.
Really? So you don't think they're going to pay Brock Purdy?
I mean, I'll say this: out of all the guys that they got to pay, and it's tough to say this for a quarterback position, but I mean, the money quarterbacks require, and without a Super Bowl, if he wins a Super Bowl, that could be the best thing that happens with Brock Purdy, because if he wins a Super Bowl, he can name his price.
Okay.
But if they don't win a Super Bowl, then they're gonna have to make some type of move. You're already saving money at the quarterback. You're gonna have to see what moves you can make. Whether bring in that guy or something. But I don't know. It's just it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that, man. Because that's been their saving grace is the fact they got him on a rookie deal.
That's true. That's true. And it's not a rookie deal, but it's a rookie 7th round deal. So it's super cheap. Yeah, it's like the cheapest contract you can have as a draft pick.
That's it. So that's what's been what's saving them all that money. So when that's gone, something gonna have to give.
Yeah, there it is. I'm curious about that, but we have to reevaluate that as the season goes on. About how this thing is going to go. But I mean, it's been a lot of noise. Now I give them credit, because I wasn't optimistic they was going to get all of this done. Like reach down to Trent to a deal, get Ayuk in at top dollar.
Yep.
I don't think they was going to be able to get it done. I thought they were going to get Trent back and trade Ayuk. That's why I thought it was a likely scenario, but they managed to do it somehow.
Yeah. And I'm sure they probably sold them on the fact that, look, I mean, the last 2 years they were an injury away against Philly the year before.
Right.
They made it to the Super Bowl last year, lost to Mahomes and them. Everybody loses Mahomes and them. So, I mean, they've probably been able to sell him on the fact that, they just been a few guys away every year. So, and especially guys like Trent, every year counts. You know what I mean? Like he's on the back end of his career.
He's 32 years old. He didn't get no younger. So
yeah. So,
now.
It's now or never with them. So, I mean, I'm sure that's what they sold the guys on. Like I said, they're a stable franchise. So, you know what you're getting with them normally. But it's just a matter of getting over that hump. Like I said, it's one bad luck thing after another.
True indeed. Okay, so as we look at the roster itself, clearly, they got all the tools in the tool bag. They did lose one of their running backs, Elijah Mitchell, to IR, so he's not on the roster at the moment. And then Pearsall is actually now on IR for the first 4 games, but loaded. I mean, I would, it's not household names on the O-line outside of Trent, but I would say that they make it work. And I think have him in house and him being the catalyst, along with a solid blocking tight end and receiving tight end like Kittle, a little dual threat guy. I mean, I think they're definitely right there for the picking in regards to being productive offensively. Now all the noise is kind of quieted for week 1. I would love to see what this offense is going to look like once Pearsall finally gets on the field. Him being a slot guy, but I do think Jacob Cowan and Juwan Jennings can fill in. Well, and I don't think they're going to be him, but I think they're going to be a solid addition to that offense. And of course, Kittle being the X factor. So great offense, coupled by a defense. That only question I really have, I mean, clearly got studs, in different areas around this particular unit. But only thing I don't think I question about them is their D-line depth. There's not a lot there. Let a few guys go, like I said, Eric Armstead and a few other guys had to walk in free agency, but they don't have a lot of guys up front that are quote unquote space eaters.
They
got Floyd on the edge, they got Hargrave in the middle, but Malik Collins, I believe got him in the trade, but I mean they got 4 guys, so if they get injury here, it can get different, up front.
Yeah,
it can get different up front.
And that's the thing that's going to be kryptonite for them is if a team starts to run the ball or if a team starts to pound them and get them behind early in the game, then they're going to be able to control the clock, and then they're going to have to play from behind. And that's, if anything, that's where you want Brock. You don't want them on schedule. You want Brock to have to go out and win the game for you. So if you get them down early, that if I'm a coach, opposing coach, that's the first game plan I'm gonna try to do. We're gonna try to run the ball, control the clock, stay on schedule with them, and get them playing from behind. Make Brock go out and win this game for us. So that's gonna be interesting to see if they can do that. Like you said, without a lot of D-line depth, you're one injury away.
You are. Yeah. So again, they got a solid front, but again, behind them though is where you have questions.
Yeah.
Because outside of Gross Matos, again, not a lot of household names either in regards to who's going to be their depth pieces or their rotational pieces. Because I mean, a lot of guys are going 4, 5, 6 D linemen deep just to have rotational pieces.
Yeah,
nowadays, so you don't burn out your starters.
Yeah, absolutely, and to keep a fresh rush.
Exactly. Exactly.
If they don't have that, it's going to be hard to do anything on that back end.
Agree. I am excited to see Hufanga come back. He was injured all last year. I'm excited for him. The kid Jair Brown, who they drafted last year, was one of my sleepers in 2023 draft. So I'm interested to see how he pans out. He's look like he's going to be the starter at free. So their secondary is looking pretty good. Like I said, I'm trying to see where Rock Ya-Sing fits in this equation because they did pick him up in free agency. I thought he was going to be a vital piece because he was a good corner in Indy. But again, Diamond Lenore and Shadarius Ward are the guys up front. Is he going to play some slide? He's going to get some rotational, I guess you can say reps outside, depending on who's going to play slot. Maybe, but, just question of what they're doing there. But yeah, I'm going to love to see what Devontae Campbell and Fred Warner do in the middle. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
As far as 3 down linebackers, they can move. They definitely move. I think Devontae got a lot of the tank still. So I do. He's a tackling machine, in Green Bay. So I think he's going to do that much work. Especially with having Fred next to him. That's going to be good for him.
Yeah, that was a big pickup for them. Like you said, especially with the Greenlaw. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried about the Greenlaw injury, how they were gonna replace him, but that they were definitely able to make that happen. And Charvarius Ward too. I mean, he's one that doesn't get enough credit. He's a dog.
Them KC corners, man. Like they just develop them. They develop them and they send them off. Like literally, they got rid of Ward first, got rid of him, and then brought in Jerry Sneed, used them for 2 Super Bowls, and got rid of him. So they got we got capital back for him. But these guys just seem to pan out once they get developed right in Spagnola's system. So so he's one of those prodigies that's from that system. So yeah, he's the number 1 corner. He typically, I love to see him and DK Metcalf go back and forth. That's always entertaining.
It's prime TV. It's prime TV.
it is, because they getting back and forth. They a penalty here, a penalty there, but it's good. It's good. It's good to watch.
Yeah,
It's good to
it's
watch.
fun. They got a lot of good battles in the NFC West. They don't get a lot of attention because obviously San Fran has been running away with it these last few years. But
Right.
it's a lot of good internal battles, wide receiver, DB battles in the trenches. Of course when Aaron Donald was there, watching him go
Oh,
up against Trent, and all, you
yes.
know what I mean. So it's a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of good battles that they got in there. And 49ers, of course, everybody brings their A game when they come to see him. So I love watching Charvarius play, and the other guys, Hufanga, like you said, coming back. He's going to get in the mix. It's going to be fun to watch him.
Indeed. Okay. All right. So let's look at them from a grading perspective. So, if you had to give them a grade for their offseason production and their movement they've had throughout the entirety of the offseason, and what grade of would you give them for the offseason, and what do you place them, sight unseen in the division?
I give him an A minus. I give him an A minus because they didn't shake up too much and they didn't have to. You know what I mean? It looked like from the look of their offense, it's pretty much the same thing coming back. I don't think I saw any really new names aside from Pearsall, who got added to it. Other than that, it looks like they got pretty much starting 11 coming back on offense. Continuity is always good.
Oh, yeah.
So, no need to change that. Defense, like we said, they had some injuries, had some people depart. They plugged them in the best that they could. Like I said, the only thing keeping them from being, A plus and things like that are those depth issues, like you mentioned on that D line, and just in general, filling those gaps. But I mean, with their salary, there's only so much they can do.
True.
But I like the fact that they were able to get the guys back that they needed back. They're able to get the deals done. As messy as it was, they got it done. That's all that matters. They're going to be ready. So
right.
I give him credit for that. So I give him an A minus.
Okay.
I look at him like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the D line piece is big for me in regards to that defense being it starts up front. I mean, let's just be real about it. So I was getting ready to go up to an A minus with you, but I'm thinking I'm gonna do B plus because I think they're very top heavy to kind of what you alluded to. On top of the fact that they're very thin on the D line, like I said, they have injury at any vital moment, edge or interior, then they got an issue. And I'm not sure how they would even address it at this moment. Cause like I said, they got very little cap space to use up at this point once they got Trent signed. So yeah, that's the only thing that really keeping me from, giving them a glowing A grade, but definitely a high B plus, a little right on that edge, 89, old grading system, 89.5, almost a 90. It comes down to what they did in the offseason. But like you said, they got a great roster already. Filling that void with Greenlaw with Devontae Campbell was a great ad. Like I said, I'm still waiting to see what Rocket sings. I thought that was a great ad too. I was telling DK, who's a 49er faithful on our pod, I think that Rocket seems going to be pretty good for them. But again, he doesn't seem to be, I guess you can say, quote unquote, wowing the coaches at this moment because he's not showing in the fold as being a depth piece yet. So we'll see. But if he's on the field, I think he'll be productive for them. So if he gets there and they can hold up on the D line, I think they'll be fine.
Yep, I agree.
So where would you place them in the division if you decide us in today? Where do you think they finish?
I think they finish. I'm gonna say first. I'm still. I really think realistically the only team that could take them over would be the Rams. But I still give 49ers the edge.
Okay.
So I'll say first.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be controversial here, and I'm gonna say second. And I'm gonna say second. I think by their own, I guess you can say something that's probably gonna be out of their control. They might end up being second in division by a game, maybe a game. It'll be tight. It'll be tight. I think by a game that they might end up being a division in this a wild card team instead of division winner. But we'll see.
I can see that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happened.
Okay. All right, so let's ask that faithful question before we move on to the next team. So, can Shanahan finish the job, in your opinion?
I think he can. I think they're capable. If they stay healthy, they can.
That's the
now
key.
That's obviously, that's out of his control. That has nothing to do with him. And I will say, in his defense, the games that they have lost in the Super Bowl and the championship, it hasn't been because of bad coaching. Not in my opinion. I don't feel like it's been. I think it's been because of things outside of their control, like we mentioned, injuries. Playing, just getting outplayed, not necessarily outcoached, but outplayed. So I think that he can do it. I think he is capable. Will it happen or not? Who knows? That's up to the football guys. But I think he can do it. I think he is capable.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, when you play with skills, good luck happen. That's usually the advice when you talk about championships, right?
Yep.
But and they've been on the opposite side of that, obviously, to your point, but their bad luck and their injuries and things of that nature, things are just having to fall apart at the wrong time. They've gone through 2 seasons where they've been, holistically healthy, and then somehow or another they get injuries in the playoffs, which end up costing them. Brock Purdy 2 years ago, Greenlaw in the last year's Super Bowl. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to let Shanahan off the hook personally. I really think that some of this it falls on him, whether it's a fair or not. In regards to his conservativeness in the Super Bowl to a degree. I do get it. Kansas City had a really good defense last year. But some people will argue that he was he was playing it safe rather than going for it in the biggest game of the year. It's kind of like you either risk it all and win it all, or you play conservative and you playing to lose. So I think that if he has I would say this, if he has another game where people are questioning his ability to, coach the big game, then I think that we could honestly say that he might be the issue in San Fran. It might not necessarily be the players. Because again, the GMs and the management have done their job. They put everything around him and kept everything around him that he possibly could. Again, can't ask for much more. So at some point, we're gonna have to look at his head man. Because he got rid of his coordinators. He defied his DC. He shuffled some things around in his staff and things of that nature, brought us some different guys. So that's the calling card. So you get one pass if you fire your coordinators.
That's true.
But if you have the same result come next season and you replace the coordinators, then we got to look at you.
Yeah, I mean, you hired them. So, if you fire the guys you hired, then, like you said, you get one pass.
Right. And I'm interested to see what his defense is going to look like, too, because, again, they got a new DC with a combination. They got Brandon Staley and another guy they promoted within. They're kind of be working in tandem with the defense. So his defense going to be as dominant with their play style versus what they've had in the last 3 years. So
yeah, I ain't a Brandon Staley fan at all.
I'm not. I'm not.
That ain't saying much of nothing. Him being their defensive coordinator.
Not at all. Not at all. So listen, I just hope for their sake that he just don't mess up.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Exactly.